I'm back with the summer holidays receding faster than my hairline. IFA 2014 and some other high-profile announcements are just round the corner. But in the meantime, a little summer catch-up for you. Here's a clever slice of thinking by HTC. Take a top Android smartphone with premium build and save hugely on development costs by releasing the exact same handset for Windows Phone. Taking the fight to the top Nokias, or should that be Microsoft Lumias, the HTC One M8 for Windows is exactly what it sounds. Specs are identical to the Android handset I reviewed in Phone Show 224, yet with Windows Phone 8.1 Update 1 under the hood. Pros: the speed and efficiency with a Snapdragon 801, the fine stereo speakers, the design and build quality, the screen. Cons: the low resolution though fast ultra-pixel camera and the kludge of the century, that is the depth camera and U-focus. No need to go looking for this one for a few weeks though, it's a Verizon exclusive for a while in the USA. Samsung, getting in a few weeks before Apple's big launch, announced the Galaxy Alpha, designed as a metallic, bling-heavy, style-centric version of its usual Android TouchWiz handsets. Replicating much of the sealed iPhone experience, there's no microSD slot and no removable battery. Specs are highish: a 4.7-inch Super AMOLED 720p display, 2GB of RAM, 32GB of internal memory, 12-megapixel camera, under 7mm thick and weighing 115 grams. But will this fool or sway anyone looking for an iPhone? I doubt it. LG has announced the mid-range but huge G3 stylus, something of a disappointment at every level compared to Samsung's Notes, with only a very low-tech capacitive stylus dubbed, quote, Rubidium. Ha! A low-end 1.3 GHz quad-core CPU drives a 5.5-inch QHD display. That's little Q, 960 by 540 pixels. Gah. At least there's a meaty removable 3000 mAh battery, which should last a while with these specs. Acer has launched the also mid-range Liquid E700, listed as quad-core with a 5-inch IPS 720p screen, 2GB of RAM, 16GB of storage plus microSD, and running Android 4.4.4. Intriguingly, the Liquid E700 is listed as supporting 3 SIM cards. More mid-range, I guess the flagships are all waiting for IFA, and next week HTC has launched what it calls its most affordable LTE smartphone to date, the Desire 510. Aside from LTE at a budget price, there's a typical quad-core 1.2 GHz Snapdragon 410 processor, a 4.7-inch LCD display, and 8GB of storage plus microSD. Interestingly, there's a version of the One's dot view case for the Desire 510 too, plus the usual HTC software additions like Blink Feed. You'll have to excuse me for sounding a little like a grumpy old geek here, but I thought some of my facepalm moments from over the summer might either make you chuckle or at least sympathise. They have to do with normobs, normal mobile users with zero geek knowledge. And not for the first time, I have to wonder at a world in which incredibly sophisticated pocket computers are being put in the hands of those with zero knowledge of how they work, or even sometimes zero knowledge of what they do. 3 facepalm examples. I won't name names. I'd hate to embarrass the family members and friends concerned. I started demoing the Nokia Lumia 1020 camera to a friend, taking a photo indoors with crisp detail thanks to the huge sensor, large lens, pure view oversampling, Xenon flash and so on. You know I'm a fan. Nokia spent 5 years perfecting the technology, but it was all dismissed in under 5 seconds here. Where are the special effects? But it's taken a perfect photo, I said. But I want it to look different. I use Instagram. Is this really where mobile phone photography has ended up? A relative had been happy with their Samsung Galaxy S3 for at least a year. I started to relax, thinking they'd mastered Android, mastered Google, mastered apps and so on. Then I had a call. Help! I had a problem with the phone and Carphone Warehouse repaired it, but I've lost all my contacts and photos. What? This is 2014. Your Android phone gets run over by a bus and then eaten by a rabid crocodile. You shrug and sign into Google on another phone and all your contacts, all your photos, all your everything just appears. But apparently not in this case. When questioned, the relative had kept their contacts on the phone's SIM card and had somehow zapped most of these by accident. As for photos, it seems that in a year of use, they'd never been into Google Plus or responded to any prompts to turn on auto backup, or indeed thought to set photos to save to the microSD card. I like to think in this case for my Galaxy S4, I use around 80 to 90% of the features of the device. The average normob is somewhere around 10%, I think. at most. This one drives me insane, and I hear it about once a month from someone in my friends or family circle, and I bet it does you too. You've been trying to get in touch with someone for weeks. You finally bump into them. Oh, I got a new phone number. My old phone screen got smashed, so I bought a new phone. What? The whole point of SIM cards for the last 20 years has been that the SIM card is your mobile identity. SIM form factor permitting, you just take it with you to your new device. And if that phone is pay-as-you-go, very common in the UK, you just take out the new pay-as-you-go SIM card, give it to a worthy cause or throw it away, and stick in your old one, and you're done. Some of my contacts have been through 6 numbers in about 6 years because a normob simply can't separate the concepts of a physical phone and a SIM card and phone number. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rant at you all, but I'll bet probably as geek support for people around you that you can identify with at least some of this in your own life. And I've now got it out of my system. Phew. It's an old story. Boy meets girl, girl falls in love, learns programming, becomes a Symbian developer. Boy starts work at Nokia. Canadian interloper kills Symbian. Girl gets cheesed off, becomes an accountant. Boy gets made redundant when Microsoft buys Nokia for beer money. Where was I? Oh yeah, this is the Nokia Lumia 530, possibly the last ever smartphone to bear the Nokia name. In fact, underneath the battery, it actually says it's made by Microsoft Mobile now. So future devices presumably will have the Microsoft Mobile name front and centre. Even more notable, this is the cheapest Nokia smartphone ever, I reckon, starting at about £60 on pay-as-you-go in the UK, and surely destined to be under £50 on pay-as-you-go before the Christmas present giving season. Now, I've covered the Windows Phone 8 handsets enough on the phone show, of course, so I'll keep this incredibly brief. There's only 4 gig of main storage, but Windows Phone 8 is now mastered downloading to and installing apps and games directly to microSD, so this isn't an issue. The 5 megapixel camera on the back is fixed focus, but wait, Nokia's unit, he has depth of field from about 1 foot to infinity, which means surprisingly good results for normobs who don't really understand autofocus anyway, with 0 shutter delay. Yes, RT macros are out, and yes, low light shots are typically indistinct, but no worse than on many mid-range devices. So what's the catch at only £60 or under then? Well, certainly not the colours. The shocking green actually suits this low-end device rather well. The main issue is the really cheap 4-inch TFT screen and no IPS, no Nokia clear black display. It's fine indoors as here, but in the sunshine out and about, it's hard to read, especially galling if you're taking a photo. Would I recommend paying a little more and getting the 630, Lumia 630 with larger display and CBD light screen tech? Yes. Would I recommend even searching out last year's 520 with IPS screen? Yes. Would I recommend almost any other smartphone over £100? Yes. But that's not actually the point. If £60 is a user's limit to spend on a pay-as-you-go phone, then this is a smooth and slick recommendation for a wallet-challenged smartphone beginner. And yes, love that colour. At this price point, love the colour. I'd hate it on my £500 flagship though.